Look at this guy.
Hello, Matthew.
Hey, Matt.
Oh, yeah.
Matthew.
Yeah.
Matthew.
Chucky.
Matthew. Matthew Tkachuk. Matthew Tkachuk.
Talk to me.
Chucky, are you there? Can you hear me?
What's up, guys?
Oh, I would die for you. I would die for you.
This is embarrassing. All right, back off from the microphone. All of this is embarrassing. We've got a genuine, bona fide hockey superstar. South Florida's fallen in love with him because he gets the dirty goals. And I thank you for your service, but also I want to reprimand.
Yes, thank you for your service. Yeah. Yes.
I want to
Very brave what you're doing.
It is brave.
Very brave.
It is brave.
Yes.
Yeah, especially against the Bruins.
You seen that forecheck?
They blew up their
Rockets. Red glare.
They blew up their
Night.
blueprint to get this guy because this guy knows how to play playoff hockey. He gets you dirty goals. You guys aren't going to embarrass me, though, by not being a journalistic entity when we talk to him, correct?
Oh, shut the hell up, Dan Le Batard. Tkachuk, you're the best!
Yeah.
Let's go to Flaney's brother!
How do you pronounce your name?
It's Matthew Brendan Tkachuk.
I told you. I told you. You didn't believe me.
Jonathan
believe
Sislo said
me.
it was pronounced Tkachuk, and we're like, I've never heard that. They don't say that in the arena. They don't say that to Matthew's dad. I've never heard anyone say Tkachuk.
It's not really a question. He's just shouting at you. Have you heard someone? Is Zaslow making this up? No one in the family history has corrected you? You've been pronouncing your name wrong all your both generations of hockey lives.
Oh, no, it sounds pretty good to me. I just tell everyone T silent, and however you pronounce it's good with us.
How surprised are you by what is presently happening? It seemed unclear that you were going to make the playoffs at all.
I don't think necessarily surprised. Like, to be quite honest, like, we just come to the rink today. Today's a practice day. Enjoy it out there. Have some fun. Lots of laughs. Prepare ourselves. Get a workout in. Go home. Do everything we can to be ready for the game tomorrow and go in and try to win. Like, it's not really surprising what's going on. It's just a lot of fun. Like, we're not like really treating this as a series either. Like, we know we're ahead, but like, we're coming in tomorrow and we're trying to win. Like, we're not, it's really a simple, very simple plan we have forward for us. And it's just been a ton of fun. Like, on the bench, we're just trying to really enjoy it all.
Sam Bennett almost stole your signature move in Game 3 with the between the legs shot. Is it like everybody's playing loose, everybody's relaxed? This is the playoffs. Like, this is a high pressure situation. Are you guys relaxed?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he went through the legs with 2 or 3 minutes left in a playoff game when it was tied. Like, I think that just shows you everything right there. Like, we're just trying. I mean, it was probably the best way he could have tried to score. Goalie made a great save, but like, that's just our team right now. Like, we're having fun. Like, we're
no, but the people were critical about it being too flashy for that game situation.
I think as somebody, I've scored a few of those before. Sometimes that's the best way and the only way to score. So I don't. I think that was a good move.
How much fun is it playing on this line with Benny and Nick Cousins? Because anytime you guys get on the ice, I feel like you're just dominating the other line.
Yeah, it's fun. Like, we all have a similar mindset. I wouldn't say we're similar players, but we think it the same way. Like, when we don't have the puck, we're going to be a dog on the bone to get it back. Like, we're hunting the forecheck. We're trying to get back as fast as possible. We're trying to, I know we're playing against great players on the other team. We're trying to limit everything that they have and, like, not just limit them, but we're trying to score and trying to produce as well. So we're trying to finish their D. Like, it is, when it comes to playoffs, like, you got to remember it's a series too. So, like, what you do in game 1 and game 2 and game 3 and game 4, like we saw in the Boston series, like, everything our line did or our team did, like, it seemed to keep evolving. And then you see it for the game 7. You see it like happen in game 7 where maybe those D don't want to go back for pucks in overtime, which led to the goal. So it's stuff like that. And I think that's kind of the identity of our team and the identity of our line right now.
So you've had a reputation entering this season as someone that gets under the skin of opposing players, and I think the Boston series was a good example. You're mixing it up with the goalie over there and carrying over this season, and specifically that Boston series. It almost looked like Toronto went out of their way to put bodies on you very early on to try to set a tone. Did you feel like they were doing something a little different, like you were starting to pay for stuff that you did the previous series?
I'm not sure. I know that teams make adjustments and stuff, but I don't think like that hasn't been what Toronto's doing all year. So if they want to do it now, I think that like just kind of works to our advantage. So we'll see what happens in the game tomorrow. But the both series have been challenging. Both are great teams. But if they change up their game for that, I think that works to our advantage. So playoffs are all about the little advantages that you can create, and it starts with your play on the ice. And like you brought up the chirping. I mean, that just happens in playoffs, and what guys say to each other. It's just kind of what happens. So, it's intense, and when the stakes get higher and higher, everybody wants to win that much more.
Yeah, and you kind of live for that stuff too. You can see that you're kind of enjoying it, and for whatever reason, you can almost point to that moment as where things kind of turned in that previous series with Boston. Something that I can't really describe well is the absence of something, and everyone expected the core four of Toronto to continue to be a matchup problem like they've historically been for damn near everyone in the NHL. I'm not asking for industry secrets here, but what are you doing to neutralize those four guys in particular? It's almost unrecognizable.
Well, they're unreal players, and they have been since they've been in the league and since they've all been on Toronto together, and have kind of provided problems for everybody they've played against, and continue to do for us. Like they're real threats out there, but for us to shut down those guys and their team, we have to do it. Like there's not just one D pair or one centerman. Like everybody has to play together, and like all five guys in the ice have to be close together and support in case one of those guys, like they're great one-on-one players. So say, one of their guys beats me, like I need Benny there to be covering for me. And then if something happens, like Cuzzy needs to be behind them, or the D, like that's kind of been like the key to our success too, is like everybody is gelled and like playing to this identity that's hard to play against. So I think for them, they're unreal players, and they'll continue to play the way that they have in their careers in the series, those guys on Toronto. So it's up to us and a challenge for us to be able to stop them, and hopefully we can continue it tomorrow.
Matthew, you know how hard it is to win playoff hockey. You know how tough these ridiculous, insane human beings skating around on swords around you, who are tougher than most human beings. You know that it is really difficult to surpass the pain threshold to be as great as you are at hockey. And I don't know how many of those teeth are real. I don't know what happens to the human mouth during hockey games, but I see you smiling. You love that you're an that bothered Boston. You love that. Like you're being all polite hockey guy, but that team had a historic record and you bothered them because you're an irritant. You're annoying in front of the goals, dirty goals taught by your father. You're an asshole. It's delightful. I love you.
Oh, I appreciate it, I guess. But no, I think that we like just talking about the Boston series, like it was really refreshing for us to be able to, like, we really did limp into the playoffs. Like we won a lot to get in, but like getting in by 1 point, like as an 8 seed, like that's playing to the bitter end. So I think when it came into the Boston series, like we know they had 40 or 50 more points than us. We know they've had this record-breaking season and all these great players that they have and traded for at the trade deadline. Like they were best team in the league, right? And I think what helped us out a lot is going into that series, it's 0-0. Like there's no records anymore. There's nothing, like it's all even, and we can start from scratch, and we can start from this game. And even though we lost game one, I felt we played really, really well in the first bit of the game that I think surprised them in the sense like these guys aren't just like, these guys are for real. Like these guys are a playoff team. And I think that's what helped us and just continue to wear them down, and ultimately got that Game 7 win.
What sparked you guys more for this late regular season into the playoff push? Was it Maurice laying into you guys on the bench in Toronto, or your dad calling the team soft on the radio?
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with C. I'll go with Lion King coming in.
Yeah.
And then, he was unreal to get us into the playoffs and played great at the start. And then obviously we know what Bob's done since he's come back. He's been our best and most important player, and can't say enough about both goalies. They've been unreal.
Paul Maurice said that the players have taken over the bench, as in the coaching staff doesn't have to make any adjustments. The players can react and adjust on the ice. How important is it for a player like yourself to have that trust from the coaching staff?
Very important. I don't think it's just given, like that's earned, and that's shown over the course of the year. Like this isn't, I know we've been in the playoffs for a couple weeks now, but we've been playing playoff hockey for months. So like this isn't all new to us, like coming to the rink in these must wins or the big time games. Like this is just how it is for us and how it's been. So I think there's obviously they're back there, and when they see stuff they let us know. But I think when he says that, I think it speaks more of like, we know the type of hockey we have to play. And if there's a shift or two or three or a few minutes span of us not playing that, like we know that's not us, and we're able to adjust and get back to what's making us successful. And I think that's been really good. And we have a lot of guys on the team that, we've got a mix of older guys and younger guys, but going through this, like we've gained a lot of important, like valuable lessons this year that are hopefully going to pay off and have paid off to this point.
Can you explain to me from a marketing standpoint and fame standpoint, playing in this market, how famous are you locally? If you'd be dominating Canada in fame if you were doing this for Canadian teams. Is the sport international enough that your fame in South Florida translates to you walking around okay, or do people bother you?
No, I can definitely walk around okay down in Florida. It's different than and how it was in Calgary for sure. I mean, like you're playing on a Tuesday night in a regular season in Calgary, and everybody knows who you are wherever you go afterwards, or whatever. But since we've made this crazy run and the more success we've had down here, like the second half of the year was a lot different than the first half of the year for me. And then playoffs have taken a whole nother side. I actually think that a lot changed after All-Star game down here. I think that was great for the city, the town, like myself and Barkey. And then through the run, it's gotten a little bit crazier. And then ever since playoffs, especially since the Game 7 win, it's been a lot different.
Well, one of the delightful things that happens in community around a team like this that is being celebrated in that region, I remember this distinctly about the last time this happened down here, is all of a sudden you're walking in everywhere and you're getting standing ovations. People are buying your meals. Is that something that's happening now down here, or have we not gotten there yet?
We got a meal the other day, but I really haven't been out too much during this. I'm trying to do everything I can to keep that focus. But the other day for meal, a few of us went out and we got it paid for. So I guess that's
you will never have to pay for a rock and rib roll at the Westchester Flanagan's. Have you been to Flanagan's yet?
Have you gone to Flanagan's yet?
I've been to the Flanagan's by the rink, but I haven't been.
It's always happy hour.
That's my
Sawgrass.
Yeah.
Chucky, I love the way you chew your mouthpiece. I've never seen it actually fully in your mouth. The way I see you when you're on the bench chewing that thing and it's dangling out of your
disgusting.
mouth. I imagine you sleep with it at night. Do you?
I do not. I actually need a fresh one here soon. So
no, don't change it.
I'm all over. I go through a handful, more than a handful,
Do
I
you
guess.
ever actually have it in your mouth the way it's supposed to be? Or do you just start the game with it dangling out of your mouth?
I'm not gonna lie. At the beginning of every shift, I try to make sure that it's fully in, but within seconds, I'm sure I just don't think about it, and it's being chewed on.
Don't change it. It's good luck. Don't change it.
Can you explain to us, please, the level of pain threshold that is presently required at this level of play that you're playing at? Because hockey players are notoriously tough. Who's toughest right now, gritting through God knows what in your locker room?
Yeah, hockey players are the toughest from the stuff I've seen. I won't get into individual stuff or what people are playing through or have played through this season, but it's not just playoff hockey what guys play through. It's game 10 of the year. Hockey players are tough. And it's not just, it's up and down your lineup, your best players to, your goalies or guys that aren't even playing, that want to be playing, that have injury. Like it's just the culture and how it is. So this time of year, like you got to block that big shot. You got to get that puck out, even though you're going to get crushed. You got to go to the net hard. You got to stay there. You got to take a few cross checks. Just the way it is, guys. So it makes hockey so great.
You remember that dorky guy with the glasses that we brought to that interview with you before the season, and he was just all like emo about Jonathan Huberdeau? He has refused to capitulate. He won't give you your flowers. So just for me and my group chat, can you just say, screw you, Whitty?
Well, I'll just say because he's not on here. That's the only reason why I'm saying it. He's not on here. So screw you, Wade, for not being on here.
Yeah! I told him to come in and apologize to you face to face. He refused. He said, I got a thing. How dare he? He's chicken.
Stare to the camera. Stare to the camera.
You guys are embarrassing me. You are.
What?
You're not journalists anymore.
Dan, you called him an asshole.
You said I love you, too.
Super compliment.
You asked him
I
what
was
his
here
name
when
was. He
I
said,
heard
what's
you
your
say that.
name, buddy?
Thank you for being on with us, Matthew. Does your dad concede that you're the better player? How does that one work?
Whoa. You remember Keith. Like, let's.
We got to do a lot more in my career before we can be in that conversation with him. But hopefully we can start with a long playoff run and play for multiple more weeks.
I love you.
Does he?
Thank you so much for making my life so much
Seriously,
better now.
I just want to hug you.
Can I
hug
wish,
you right now?
Can you
It's
just
uncomfortable.
just be here forever and just keep playing the way that you're playing?
They've
I'm
got him
just so
signed
happy.
forever. Isn't it like a million-year
Yeah.
contract, no trade clause? Like
You're
you've got to
the
stay
greatest
here.
thing that ever happened to me, and I'm just so grateful for you.
Well, thank you guys. Hopefully you guys can watch for a few more rounds of us,
I'll be
too.
there. I'll be there with a hat on.
I don't know what that means.
Neither do I.
Just a hat.
Only a hat.
Just a hat.
Just a hat. Only a hat. And if you score 3, that's coming off too.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Love you.
I'm embarrassed.